Welcome everyone, it's Vapors Dragomar. It's time for some more Raid Shadow Legends. We are going to be doing a blitz up Doom Tower. Yes, up Doom Tower. And continue, try to do with a little more damage, shall we? And last time, we completely obliterated the, Magma Dragon with Ultimate Death Knight, who I'm still going to be helping out. It's, I might as well put the get comfy thing, because they're about to, let loose. One thing I like about Bellower is that he never weak hits. So if, regardless of affinity, if he's gonna add it, he's gonna do it. Ultimate Death Knight's useful because he helps you use nukers that normally you wouldn't be able to use, like Bellower in Doom Tower, or Phoenix in like a really high stress situation. Because of... I also like the fearing. I love his fearing, because this guy's fearing is really useful. See? We don't even need the res. Let's just keep going. Let's just keep going, because we actually don't have a lot of time. Because I have so much to do and so little time to actually do it. Because I have to write, I have to continue to do Avion. I've got so much to do. I had to do the boosts all day. I had to supervise my teammates, make sure they don't do anything stupid, do stuff with League. There's so much going on. I helped the Rotman, take out the, try to do wood maybe even. Like, there's so much to do. Just doing the boost was difficult. I had to show up for Chai Plays. That's bad. I was hoping that was going to provoke. Okay, he's down. Probably because his gear isn't fully leveled. Their defense is so high. Look at this defense. Look at that. This is why I have to start earlier when I'm dealing with these higher level mobs, because as we start to go up, the mobs start to gain new problems. As we start to go towards floor 100. Fact, I need him to be in there. Be in there. So who knows if they have rezzers somewhere in there. I'm trying to okay, first things first. We're stopping any reses. Because we don't want... Number one fear I have with these mobs is that they decide to res constantly. Because some of these mobs, they res. See, there is that possibility, see? I'm amazed. These guys are so annoying. These astroliths. There we go. Not the most annoying thing on the planet. Alright. Need to change affinity here. Where are we at? We still got to do that. We still have the same team, doesn't matter. Regardless, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while regardless. Because we're at the point in the tower where all the mobs are really awful. At least the diversionary tactic is keeping them focused on something else. These mobs are still going to be really infuriating. At least it never... He can never weak hit. What time is it? Only way to really tell is... Okay, we have another 20 minutes. Okay, so we're going to put some more into Bellower. I'm going to make sure his ring's maxed, if we can. Any little bit of attack he can get extra is really useful. Granted, it's going to be costly. Costs at least 200 to 300k or more silver for that substat. Up to 1 million or more. Really unfortunate. How much total stat does that bring him to? $3.5k. Got to keep climbing. We're just gonna put in some Drex in here. So at least his damage hits true, right? That's the advantage of Void Affinity. The Void Affinity will never weak hit versus anybody. It won't strong hit, but it won't weak hit, so he's more adaptable. You see how powerful that is? Like the AoE from the bellower. Plus, okay, we are going to need some special ops people. I am in what we like to call a thorny situation. Let's see if we can do it with this. I have a number of strategies. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay, that's not what I wanted. That is not what I wanted. This is really bad. Okay, that redirection helps. Why? Because it stops the Mortu from periling your other guy. So that's a nice addition. Will it work the entire time? Not necessarily. But it has a chance of making this a lot easier. See? You see how powerful Ultimate Death Knight is? He's allowing me to do stuff that normally should never ever happen. Because of the redirect. Because it means whatever nuker I have, it doesn't matter what they are, he's going to make sure that the enemy team is going to have a hard time with it. See? That's why this Ultimate Death Knight guy is such a big deal. That's why. Note how little damage is being dealt to Phoenix right now. He should be less than half health. Like, this should be taking forever. By the way, we shouldn't be able to just wipe it out like this with that champ. That shouldn't happen. But it is. Because he exists. That's right. Because he exists. Is the power of this champ sinking in yet? That reminds me, I need to get the Ugo out and get the Phoenix in. Because I need the damage, is why. I need damage here. That's what's called for. Raw damage. I'm just going to block it in case they got any rezzers in there, because the last thing I need is them saying, I have a res. I have a res. It's like, that's the last thing I need. Last thing I need is one of those guys in there is a res. Like that guy right there, he's a res. So it's like without the res... With the res, I can't hope to win. Unless... Okay, let's just block revive this guy if I can. Of course not. Of course not. Okay, he should be in a position. Perfect. Go. Alright, perfect. See, with the Phoenix, we can stop the bureaucracy. The Phoenix and the Cleopteryx are here to stop the bureaucracy, while the Ultimate Death Knight is here to save the destroyers. See? That's why Phoenix can suddenly do all that damage. Why? And Cleo and Phoenix. Why? Because they're no longer affected by that damage. Dwarves faction. My Dwarves faction needs help. In a lot of ways. Like this guy has to get helped for the block revive. She's got to get help for the revive. She's got to get better gear. I might have her as a second damage dealer. I have some issues with my dwarves. So because we have issues with the dwarves, I'm moving on for now. Because I could theoretically do it if I had the boost on and I was leveling those champs. If I had a Trunda, we could do it for free practically. But I don't have such a beast. Well, yeah, like if I had a Trunda, I would do that no question. Like I would go out of my way to level the Trunda later, but I don't. Besides, I do need to level my Melga at some point. Hopefully I also get a Geoman. Like, there's so many important dwarf champs I'm missing. You know? There's so many important dwarf champs I am missing. And that ultimately is an issue. also, we gotta kill these Aneathwis. Getting that provoke on him is a pretty good idea. At least in my estimation of it. Because I don't need... So one thing always fears me whenever I'm facing an Aneathwi, and why I always focus him first, is because not only does he slam like an absolute cannon, he also blocks revive. Which means that Sill's revive is useless, because he doesn't just block revive. Let me edit that. He blocks revive on every skill. Which makes him even more dangerous than Phoenix, despite the fact Phoenix has a 0-turn block revive. Having a block revive on every skill is even more dangerous. So, at this level, you know who I'm going to be focusing. I'm gonna be... My nose today, man. I must have a cold or something. I swear. I don't even know where I got it from, because I haven't been out much. Anyway. Back to the raid at hand. At least we got rid of the other guy. I try to not do much of these Doom Tower waves, but you know how it is. Hang on, I've got a tab. Yeah, I don't need a tab, I just check. Okay, we have 6 minutes. Barely enough time. Barely. I mean, I know the other one's going to be slower in clearing, but that's just the harsh reality of having more than one account. Especially when the other one was due for leveling champs. Because it's a long process leveling champs. Especially food. And it's a constant cycle of leveling food because you never know who you're going to pull. You never know who you're going to pull, so you always want to have some 6-star food left over even after a CVC. I mean, I would 6-star Scartosis, but I have a feeling someone better is coming down the pipeline, so I'm just gonna wait until if I see somebody who's even better than Scartosis show up, even if it's an epic. Because there are some epics way better than Scartosis. Like, if I got a Skull Crown, you bet my bottom dollar I'd be investing in that Skull Crown. Or Maneater. Even though Maneater's not a nuker, he does what I want him to do. Which is to do a lot of damage. Actually, no. Maneater does a lot of damage, but he puts unkillable buff on whole team. That is basically... The damage isn't the full value of Maneater. The full value of Maneater is basically unlocking Ultimate Nightmare. Straight up. That's basically what he does. He unlocks that, and he unlocks the 100 million mark. Like, he unlocks the higher damages in Clan Boss. Either him, Brogni, or, like, Martyr or something. Like, it's one of these legendaries, or Maneater. Maneater is the only epic, one of the only epics, not all the epics, but one of the only epics, or a second Demetha, that would allow me to do it. Because I need I need a lot of damage, like reduction, to go far in Clan Boss. It's a mandatory thing. Ultimate Death Knight does not 100% do the damage reduction I truly need to get to the higher degrees of Clan Boss. The only champ, there are very few champs, only Brogni and Manir, off the top of my head, are able to actually, truly do it. So this is floor 90 Nether Spider. Now, floor 90 Nether Spider is a piece of work. It's such a piece of work that I don't even want to bring Phoenix into this equation. And the reason that I even have Demetha in this equation is I do not trust Ultimate Death Knight until he gets his gear fully leveled to even be able to withstand the punishment meted out by this spider. Because the punishment by this spider is nothing short of legendary. That is the bitter reality of the whole matter. The punishment meted out by this spider is nothing short of legendary. The first thing the spider's going to do, and it's not subtle, is to put out a lot of poisons. And then we're going to start with the burn. Try to get some damage on him. I'm going to keep the defense up. Removing these poisons is highly important. This poison buildup, that's why I put 2 cleansers in here. Specifically this portion of the tower. This portion of the tower is extremely evil. Like, I do not... You really have to be careful here. Because at any point, your team can wipe. You do want to do that, because, like, you can use 2 spirit hosts here, but you're going to want to dress up your spirit hosts in good gear, and you're going to want to have them max booked with other spirit hosts. I'm going to say this on purpose, because otherwise, if you don't do that, you're in for a very bad time versus this spider. You do not try to nuke down the spiderlings on this version. You will get dumpstered by their counterattack. I want to make this clear. Because this is by far the scariest of the spiderlings. The spider bosses on this rotation. If you have a 3rd cleanser or a 3rd transfer of buffs, use them versus this version. Or you will. I'm not going to say you may. you will get dumpstered if you do not have block damage or unkillable buff. That is the extent of evil this boss brings. You need damage mitigation. You need cleanse. You need a lot of it. Because this spider smacks. And it also puts a lot of poison on you. Cleanses are mandatory for this boss. Mandatory. If you have a cleanse, if you don't have a cleanse now, build one. Or two. Preferably two. I do think you need two unless your cleanse is like... Okay, if you have a 200 rock, you only need one cleanse. But if you don't have like a 200 rock, then you'll need more than one cleanser. Okay? If you don't have someone that cleanses a lot, like everything, like every turn, don't eat, like, just make sure that you bring the cleanse, because that boss will slam you so hard into the ground. It's not even funny. And next time we're going to be climbing further through the Doom Tower. And hope to reach this epic book that, and what's ever in Secret Room 10. So, if that's Magma Dragon, that's Nether Spider. Then that's Scarab. Let me think. So it starts out with Magma Dragon, Nether, Scarab, Frost Spider. Scarab, Nether Spider, Frost Spider, Magma Dragon, Nether Spider, Scarab, anyway, it's some pattern like that. It's the 4 bosses repeating over and over again until we get to the top of this evil, this tower of evil. Which is gonna take a while.